And good morning at 7:04 on this Wednesday, March 15th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody. It's a Wednesday, and it's cold out there. 25 degrees on my car thermometer. Well, that's not all that cold, but it's cold for what we have been having. I want to welcome Robert McDonald here to talk about Cedar Stone Bank. Robert, good morning.
Coleman, good morning.
Good morning, and welcome again. We always remind everybody, Cedar Stone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson, simple banking, simply better. And Robert is one who pretty much takes care of the Donaldson branch. And, of course, he's vice president and relationship manager there. And whenever Bob needs a break, why, you get to come out here and do the commercial.
Bob was on special assignment
And
today,
drive all
Coleman.
the way from Donaldson up this way.
That's right.
Easy drive coming east, not so good going
We
west.
always talk about such a beautiful drive, a little cold, but a beautiful sunrise coming up, driving this way, but then thinking about going back west is there might hit a little traffic, Coleman.
Well, I don't know how much of this you want to address, and you don't have to any of it if you want, but the banks, some of them at least, have been in the news of recent.
Our industry's been front and center, haven't we, Coleman? And one reason Bob cannot be here, he was actually on the show Fox and Friends, the Fox News, the National Network, with Brian Kilmeade this morning, talking about this same issue, if you want to call it that, a very, in our opinion, kind of one-off issue. Of course, that Silicon Valley Bank and that Signature Bank are very unique banks. They're not like a Cedar Stone or a great community banks that we have in our markets. Very unique, structured very differently, and their business plan is so much different than how Cedar Stone Bank operates. And it just goes back to the importance that we've always talked about relationships and banking people, the people knowing your banker in your bank and your community, and same with bankers. So I think over 90% of their customer base were kind of all online in that big tech industry. And again, kind of we think just a one-off. There might be some others that follow, unfortunately. But again, Cedar Stone Bank and our great community banks here are stable and solid.
So no need to worry.
No need to worry.
All
No,
right.
sir.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that.
And I tell you, the big thing that's come to light with this is the FDIC insurance, right?
Yeah.
And there are ways, even though the FDIC insures up to $250,000, a couple can have close to $1 million in the bank, in one bank, and if structured the right way, and be secure. So like a couple could have a joint checking or a money market account, and both if you're a co-owner on that account, both are insured $250 a piece on that. And so if you go to the FDIC website, you can see how you can structure certain things to where you can have more than, for those individuals or couples or businesses, have over that threshold to structure that properly to make sure you're adequately insured.
I'm glad you said that, because I have not read that and wasn't aware of that. Actually, I just thought the maximum you're guaranteed was $250,000.
So there's different ways you can structure with beneficiaries, with socials, with even a lot of folks open up a trust account and still operate out of the same way, an interest-bearing type of money market account. That's also insured because it's structured a different way. So you can have over that threshold if it's structured properly.
And I suppose at all three branches of Cedar Stone that you can take care of anybody's needs in that.
That's exactly right. Yes, sir, we can.
So no need to worry.
No need to worry. No, sir.
Well, of course, lending money is one of the ways you do make money. Interest rates have increased a little bit, but I think you're still making a lot of loans.
We are making loans. Loan demand is still high. We were so used to, the rates were in the 2s and the 3s. You and I talked about this for a couple of years, and those were just so historically low. In rates, they have increased. They've increased rapidly, and it's been concerning for some people. But they're still historically on a lower end. And we are still lending money, and the loan demand is strong. And we can take care of, as you say, Coleman, the loan at Cedar Stone.
All right. And of course, that the way to get started, and you really, if you're going to ask somebody to lend you some money, and really, whether it's a small amount, if it's the first time you're borrowing money, or you've been doing this for a long time, but if you don't have an established relationship, it's really a strike against you. You want to know a little bit about somebody you're lending money to.
Of course, we want them to know us as well. Going back to kind of what's happened to banks in California, New York, we want to know you, and most importantly, we want you to know us. And to get that relationship started, that Simply Free checking account's a great way to do that. There are no fees at all on that, Coleman. You can access your money with our Cedar Stone Bank debit card anywhere in the world, and we reimburse that foreign ATM fee for you. Online banking, you still pay for your checks for those that still write checks. We have you can make a deposit with the check through a mobile deposit platform. That's also free. So it's a great way to get that relationship started.
Even as young as you are, and you're not as young as you used to be, but you're still a youngster to me. You've seen a lot of banking change in the time you've been in the banking business.
Sure. I've been in the banking business now going on, I guess, 13, 14 years, 11 or so with Cedar Stone. But we have seen a lot of changes as far as technology and the ways you can access your money, even in my short career.
But you're right up there on the cutting edge. But still, relationships are important. You love to see people.
Relationships are the key. That's who we are. So we want to see you in the bank, see you out in the community, and we love that about how we bank people.
Well, Robert, it's always good to have you, and we hope that Bob has a successful assignment today, and I'm sure he will.
He will.
And we'll see you next time, whenever that is.
Thank you, Coleman.
And have a safe trip
Marcus, good to see you. You have a great guest coming on next, Coleman. Thank you.
All right. Robert McDonald, Cedar Stone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson. Simple banking, simply better. 10 minutes after, and yes, Mark Hinesley's here. It's his day for March. And if you look at the calendar today, now, there's some people, if you say this is the Ides of March, they won't even have a clue what you're talking about.
I know, that's right.
But I did take Latin in high school, and in our sophomore English class, we studied Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So the soothsayer says to Julius, beware the Ides of March.
See, and even back then they knew that March would end up being madness, didn't they? So I heard you and Justin Beasley talking yesterday, and yes, you are right. This is the time everybody, at least that was born north of the Mason-Dixon line, sure gets excited about basketball, probably like football down in the South. But now it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. And it was chilly this morning.
Yep.
I let my guard down. I told MJ, I said, I think I'd put away some of my winter clothes. And this morning I was trying to scramble around. Where's that jacket at? Because it got a little chilly. But we'll probably be in 6 weeks. We'll be fussing about, darn, I miss those cool mornings when it's 90 out by 8 o'clock in the morning. So...
Well, still on the subject of basketball here, for those who don't know, I think you're from the Hoosier State.
That's right.
And you are a big Indiana fan.
I have been since Bobby Knight in 1975.
Yeah.
That was a better team than the one they went undefeated in 76. So just in my short cheerleading years, we won, I guess, 76, 81, and 87. And hadn't been relevant for 30 years, and now all of a sudden we got a pretty decent team. So, yes, I'm excited. Finally.
Well, you were and I didn't realize this morning. I mean, to me, this is quite an accomplishment that Indiana has beaten Purdue already twice this year.
Home and away. Yeah. In fact, I think at one time when Purdue had lost 5 games, Indiana were 2 of them. So, and I don't disparage Purdue. If Indiana can't win, I'll probably be pulling for Purdue. I just don't think they're a championship team. I think they'll go out in the second round.
Oh, okay.
Indiana, however.
And you got your bracket all.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Indiana winning it all.
Oh, yeah. And on the CBS brackets or whatever that I'm part of, way less than 1% are putting their money on Big Red. So we'll see what happens. Next time I'm here, I'll be probably tears in my coffee cup.
Well, would you think it would be fairly successful if they made it to the Sweet 16?
I hope they go. I hope they go farther than that. We got an All-American on our team. Our best player's been on the bench. He only got to play 11 games, even though I think the limit is 10. But he's going to get a hardship, so he'll be back next year. But we're losing 2 good seniors this year, and if the right team shows up, I wouldn't even say anybody else has got a chance. If the wrong team shows up, Kent State's going to knock us out Friday. So we'll just see.
You are optimistic.
I am. That's good. Hey, that's what chamber guys do. Chamber boys and girls. It's always a great day.
Chief encouragement.
That's right. They're going to need some encouragement too. So
we can't dwell on sports the whole morning, but it is kind of that time of year. So much attention is focused on the big dance, as we call it.
It is, and it's probably a stretch to call a parallel, but at the end of the day, Coach Woodson, he's trying to do the same thing we are, and that is get the people that get the best talent you can. You surround yourself, take a lay of the land, see what the opportunities are, put the team to work. If we don't hit one out of the park, we got to go again the next day and try something else, and just keep your foot on the gas and don't give up. And these couple of days is when we start looking for the sales tax reports from the previous month. So it's always a little dicey, 14th, 15th, 16th of the month. But and before I forget, and I don't know when it was, but our friend Heather Bay at the Lebanon airport, I believe amongst her peers in the airport fixed base operator world or whatever in Tennessee, I believe that she was recognized as Airport Operator of the Year. And so,
well, I hadn't heard that. Congratulations.
Yes, I hope it was recent and I didn't miss it too much. But
that's a good reason to have her back out here.
I hope you do. There's somebody she was put on this planet to be passionate about the Lebanon airport. I will tell you, and it's a first class operation over there, and it's growing too.
Yeah. Mark Hinesley with the Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce is here, my guest this morning, and this is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Absolute Kubota. Write it off the lot, write it off your taxes. Visit Absolute Kubota. Take advantage of the Section 179 tax deduction when you buy new Kubota construction equipment, tractors, RTVs, hay tools, or turf products. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. I'm looking at this crash up against the wall. It's not a bad wreck. It's just in a terrible spot. And it's 24 westbound at Hickory Hollow Parkway. It's really aggravating all that traffic coming in from Rutherford County right now. Murfreesboro headed towards Nashville. On 24 westbound, those cars are up against the wall. T-Dot's here on 24 westbound at Hickory Hollow Parkway. Still over here trying to clean up this nasty-looking wreck on Briley Parkway westbound over I-65. Building through Mount Juliet right now on I-40. Coming in from Wilson County, it's still a bit slow just outside of Lebanon there before Sparta Pike on 40 westbound from that earlier crash. Again, they're in Wilson County. Hey, Snapdragon Hemp, serving up lab-tested top-shelf hemp products, edibles, flowers, concentrates. Order online at snapdragon420.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
When you needed portable heating, cooling, generators and remediation equipment, contractor tools, or any other equipment or solution to help you get the job done, you trusted Absolute Rental and Supply. Now that same team brings you more equipment and more solutions as Herc Rentals. From construction and industrial to HVAC and homeowner, Herc Rentals has the gear and expertise to get jobs done efficiently, effectively, and safely. Visit us today at 1325 Main Street in Lebanon or online at hercrentals.com. That's HERCrentals.com.
Live it up with the deal of a lifetime from TDS. Get symmetrical 1 gig fiber internet for only $59.99 a month, and the price is locked for life. Same price today, next year, the year after, you get the idea. Plus, no contract and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Future-proof, inflation-proof, super-fast 1 gig internet, only $59.99 a month for life. Life's good. Visit tdstv.com/lifetime. Internet speeds are up to and not guaranteed. Subject to availability. See website for details.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Mark Hinesley is with us, Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce. We do call him the Chief and First Wells.
Hey, we're going to need a little more time today because I'll tell you what, we got a lot to talk about.
I'm going to just say, go ahead.
No, I'm excited for all of Wilson County because today, Leadership Middle Tennessee, this is their month to spend in Wilson County. So they'll be out and about. I believe they start today, and they'll be at the Mount Juliet Chamber. I know they're going to be at the Vanderbilt hangar at the airport. I think they have a different focus, if I understand it, where each month it's maybe a different focus. And this month, when they come to Wilson County in March, my experiences with them, it's usually been about transportation. That's the focus. And not just transportation in Wilson County, but they're looking at it regionally or whatever. So I think a number of years ago when we got the Music City Star at the time, transit-oriented development, it seemed like a natural fit, and I think they're still doing that. So today, tomorrow, and I guess maybe on Friday, they'll be in Wilson County with the topic being transportation. What are we going to do? And then, other than appropriate housing, there may be that may be the biggest economic development challenge that we face is how do we get goods and services and people to from point A to point B. You can't keep putting more asphalt down, building roads wider. So I know they're looking at alternative ways to get people around. We're very fortunate. The neighboring counties, they don't have the train, the WeGo Star. Yeah. So I think we got a leg up on the others on that.
They may not have Wilson Rides either.
I put in my notes, hats off to Wilson Rides. That's, that's an organization like Everyone's Wilson that just kind of good people got together, saw a need, and that has really taken off.
Are you still doing that occasionally?
When I can. Yeah. And as it grows.
And you did the first
one. Yeah, that's right. I did the first one, and they hired their second employee. Kathy Rhodes is working part-time. I think she's going to be the transportation coordinator, and there's a lot in that. You could keep one person busy just following up on making sure the drivers are insured and that they've got the training, and coordinating rides all over Wilson County with people that need them, connecting them with the people that can give them a ride. Sometimes the ride is to take them to the cricket store so they can pay their phone bill and drop them swinging by the grocery. Other times it's taking them to the hospital, or there's people in Lebanon that want to get a ride to the Mount Juliet Senior Center. There's people in a couple of them in Mount Juliet that want to go to the Lebanon Senior Center. And now there's split rides where, hey, I can take them one way, but I can't hang out while they play cornhole for 2 hours and then come back. And so she coordinates it now where somebody else can get them back, and just doing a phenomenal job. And, I just remember, gosh, I don't even know how long ago. It's probably been 12, 14 years when Mayor Hutto, that was just something he was very committed to keeping not only the youth and everybody, quality of life, but keeping our senior community engaged. And it percolated for a while. I'm sure it took much longer than most would have liked, but boy, the outcome has just been incredible with that, and the services they're providing. And, I remember early on in the chamber world, the consultants would say, because a lot of chamber people, they look for the next big town. Okay, I've done it here. Now I want to go to a bigger chamber and a bigger. And so they move all over, and always said, when you go to a town, you can look real quick on the health of that community, whatever it is, on how well they take care of their seniors and how well they take care of their youth. And for a long time, I think we had the youth pretty well taken care of, but there were opportunities being unmet, challenges being unmet with providing services like that for our seniors to ensure their quality of life and engagement. And, at the same time, we've got them, they want rides so they can go to organizations and volunteer their time. And so it's just that's a huge success for all of Wilson County. So anything we can do to help them out. Another one is Everyone's Wilson. Yeah. I know they've been out here. We just love to brag on Wilson County. Churches are historically probably pretty territorial. They watch out for their flock or whatever. And it was almost an insurmountable task to get over 40 churches now all pulling the wagon in the same direction for some things, for our youth, with keeping them safe and fed and educated. And they have a big gala coming up tomorrow night, I guess, at the Capitol Theater, a fundraiser, friend raiser. So I believe it's nearly sold out as well. I see walking in the door, I see the sign on your door this morning that I believe the Kiwanis Club roast for Dory Mitchell. Right. Big letters on there, sold out. And I just think that's exciting because I see the community that's responding. Hey, I want to support this organization. And WANT and the papers, social media, y'all are making that possible too, because awareness, you've had all of them out here at one time or another. So people learn about that. That's a good thing. I'm going to support them. So when we come around and sell tickets, whether it's the Kiwanis or the Lions Club or the Rotary Club or whatever, a library roast. It used to be the library, now it's the Kiwanis, right? So pecans, people buy pecans because they know the good work that the Lions Club's doing. And now the American Legion is selling discounted plants and woody stem bushes and stuff. That's their fundraiser. So I think it all has to work together, and it's fun to kind of be on the sidelines or in the thick of it, just kind of watching that magic happen.
One thing you haven't mentioned, and I'm sure you are aware of, and that's the the new possibility for the veterans getting the old fire station and Uncle Pete's.
Yes.
And has connected with Mayor Bell and.
You know, I think that is a win for everybody. There was a need. The city had a surplus building, and that's going to end up being better for both. And I'm proud of what Wilson County does for their veterans. I'm sure they can do more. I'm sure there's needs that are being unmet, but it's not for lack of effort yet. And something like that could be a big step forward, because one veteran may tell another one, and they'll tell another one. And one of these days, I think we'll have something to be really proud of over there, and I appreciate
and
them.
from talking with Pete, I understand the older ones felt more in place and whatever, but a lot of the younger ones, that this is going to help.
I hope so.
Yeah.
The statistics that we see of, for one, I can't even in my wildest imagination imagine what that would have been like to see some of the things they did and come home and have nobody around them that has ever seen anything, just somebody to talk to and share stories and prop each other up.
Somebody that's been there.
That's right.
Has had some similar experience.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So excited about that too. And yesterday I got a call from Nelson Andrews of Nelson Andrews Cadillac, and they are having their ribbon cutting on, I believe it's Tuesday, April the 3rd. So we're about to start selling the electric Lyric. That's their big SUV, full-size car. Oh, I think there's a question about whether it's an SUV or a car. I'm not exactly sure, but they get electric credits for something. I don't know about all that, but I do know that sales tax is going to hopefully go up a little bit starting Tuesday, April the 3rd. So excited about that. And the last time I was here, we had not yet got to February the 27th, a Monday night. That was second reading on the massive project called Providence Central, and that was approved on second reading. And that one project right there alone was a little over $100 million investment. Mixed use development, met with not 100% support, but Ed Binkley, a former mayor, I don't know, it's probably been 25, 30 years ago now, Mount Juliet, when I was getting worked up about something at the Board of Commissioners, he said, Mark, just calm down. In Mount Juliet, you only got to be able to count to 3. And February 27th, we had 3, they had 2, and the project's moving forward. And it'll be 4 years before we get before they get the first CO. And it gives us enough time, I hope, to put the wheels in motion for the Central Pike interchange and relieve some of the traffic, which we have. But no, and I always, there's every once in a while I get behind a project or whatever and want to be supportive of it. And then when it does pass, if it does, I feel a real sense of obligation to do it right, to do what we said, and to hold them accountable and bring something to Wilson County that we can all be proud of. And I don't want to look back and be ashamed of something that I was in favor of and have to tell my kids how I screwed that up. And a lot of homework or whatever, but I think it's good for all of Wilson County.
But in the position that you're in with the chamber, you have to do a little homework and a little study beforehand before you're going to kind of endorse something or get behind it.
Well, it'd be totally irresponsible not to. You can't just be there's dirt moving, this is the flavor of the month, but it needs to support itself, it needs to pay for itself, but when they get done, the community, Wilson County, ought to be better than they were before they started, or what was the point. And I think we have to recognize that things are very different. What might have been a good project for an office building before COVID, like it or not, blame it on COVID. If you don't want to, that's fine. But that landscape changed 180 degrees, and the train station used to be completely full. That parking lot over there. In fact, they added 106 spots. They broke ground on that about 3 days before COVID, and then suddenly, nobody was parking in the train and it's still not all the way. In fact, it's not even most of the way back. People don't want to go downtown. They don't have to go downtown. So now what do? Do you build an office building that's 30 stories tall, or do you go out into the neighboring communities and build 10 office buildings that are 3 stories tall? I think rather than have big buildings where people go to work, I think now those employers are going to go to where the people are, so that they don't want to be stuck in commutes. And just so many things have changed. But Cumberland Advisors recognized that, did all their homework, and I think they've presented a good project. Now, for everybody that was supportive of it, it's time to step up and get out there and make sure it turns out good and it does what they said it was going to do. So that's pretty exciting. I just, bringing growth to a grinding halt because we have traffic, which in many ways it's not even our traffic. A large percent of the traffic coming up Mount Juliet Road, because it's a state highway, they're just passing through. They're coming up Mount Juliet Road and 840 to bypass the traffic in Nashville and 40. So we can't sit back and cross our fingers and hope, because that's not much of a plan. And if we didn't do anything, it's not going to get anything but worse. So sometimes doing nothing is the worst decision you can make. So, and to everybody, and I have not met this gentleman. I've heard fantastic things about him. I'll say the general manager or the superintendent at West Wilson Middle School, the same one that did Stoner Creek. I want to shake that guy's hand one of these days and tell him thank you, because if you don't drive by there very often, West Wilson Middle School, which was decimated March 3rd, 2020 when the tornado came through, they are making you can literally see the progress every day down there. And the community is very excited about getting that school back online. And that's one of the most lingering effects, if you will, of the tornado. Lives are still being, it's a little bit chaotic and stuff, but that's very encouraging. And I understand that guy sleeps in the trailer on site.
Right.
Yes. And so thanks to everybody that's making that possible, because that has an impact everywhere in Wilson County.
Thank you for being with us this morning.
Out of time again.
You weren't looking at
Go Big Red. That's it. And Vandy, right? All right.
Thank you. Mark Hinesley, Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce. So that's part one of Coleman and Company. We hope you'll keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
And it's 7:31. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. It's all brought to you by our friends at Bates Ford. Get a battery installed on most vehicles. $134.95. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good afternoon. Cleanup continues on a couple of wrecks that's been out here for a while, especially this one over here on Briley Parkway westbound, right at I-65. What a nasty wreck that was. Looks like they got just one more vehicle to move that's slowing down traffic here on 24 westbound at Hickory Hollow Parkway. That's aggravating that traffic right now coming in from Rutherford County, arriving in this area here on 24 westbound at Hickory Hollow Parkway. Again, it's not that bad of a wreck. It's just people are slowing down the rubberneck. Nash Painting services all of Middle Tennessee. Check them out online today at nashpainting.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Hello, Phoenix baseball fans. This is senior outfielder Santrell Farmer from Bardstown, Kentucky, inviting you to follow the Phoenix on the air and online this season. You can hear all of our games on either WANT FM 98.9 or WCOR AM 1490 or online at WANTFM.com or GoCumberlandAthletics.com. We hope to see you soon. Go Phoenix.
A bit of a warmer day ahead for us with more sunshine showing up. Things start off bitterly cold as we climb out of the 20s and 30s for the morning. Look for a high of 57 degrees later in the day, with temperatures reaching the mid-60s tomorrow. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm number one Ned.
Coleman and Company, part two for a Wednesday. Time for us to talk about Herc Rentals. That's H-E-R-C. Herc Rentals, 1325 West Main in Lebanon. We have Josh Heatherly here this morning to do the commercial. And good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Coleman.
I don't know what's happened out there this morning, and you may not have experienced it, but when I was coming in about 5 minutes to 7, the Trousdale Ferry traffic was bumper to bumper all the way coming in to Lebanon. And, of course, it was easy on my side to get to the radio station. And I understand that our guest for part two is tied up in traffic a little bit this morning. So something is going on. I don't know what it is. Maybe we can get to the bottom of it before long. But we do know what's happening at Herc Rentals. You're there each day to help take care of people, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, what do you got for us this morning?
Just a normal call, make reservations on the equipment. Right now, it's getting, I know it's cold right now, but it's on the horizon of warmer weather. Everyone's waiting in that. So once it starts warming up, a lot of customers are able to do a lot more, especially the homeowners, able to get out, work on their yards, work on their mulch beds, everything they want to do outside. So we have equipment to help out with all your needs there.
If you're a do-it-yourselfer, there's got to be something you need at Herc Rentals. I just believe there is.
Yeah.
Even if some of the things that you do with your yard, the straw and the other things, you know all about that.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we try to have try to have a little bit of everything of what the homeowners need, all the way up to the large construction customers, contractors. As far as homeowners, we have the straw blowers. If you recently had, exposed dirt and you need to put seed and straw down, we got straw blowers, straw. We sell seed and fertilizer as well. We got mulch, just all kinds of equipment and tools that would help you finish your projects that you would want to do.
Have you worked with that quite a bit or sold quite a bit of it over the years at this place?
Yeah, well, when we were the Kubota dealership handled a lot of the fertilizer and seed sales. They have a program, and I have, since I have been up there so long, I have been around it. I'm not going to say I'm any kind of expert on it, but I have been around it and I have sold plenty of it.
Well, you do know that there's a lot of people that depend on you for that, and you've got a good supply, and so come and get it. But we try to mention the phone number 615-443-RENT, but also now maybe even more important than ever is the website hercrentals.com, HERC, hercrentals.com. You do a lot there on the website.
Yes, sir. We do a lot through the website. It's got pricing on there. It's got the equipment. Now, if you go to Herc Rentals' main website, not every piece of equipment they have on there will be at our branch, but that's the bonus of having multiple locations. We do have a Nashville branch. We got a Chattanooga branch. We got one in Kingsport. So if we don't have it at our branch, if you was to give us enough heads up and reserve that piece of equipment, we can most likely be able to get that equipment down to our branch in a timely manner.
Well, there's so much that you've got to offer, and whether you're a contractor and maybe even one of the big ones that needs some pretty heavy equipment, you've got that, or if you're just a do-it-yourself homeowner that likes to do hands-on, if you know what you're doing, sometimes that's the best way to go.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. And and a lot of the customers, the homeowners, they know what they want, but they don't know how to operate the machine. So I tell customers, when you're picking that machine up or when we are delivering that, we can also, give you a rundown on how it's operated, the correct way and the safe way of operating that piece of equipment to get your job done.
Do you do much delivering?
I do. That's I
was good. That was my next question. Was, you know how to operate most of that equipment then?
Yeah, just from being around it my whole life, and also, I've held many positions while I worked there at Absolute, and also now that it's Herc, I've been the one washing the equipment. I've been the one delivering the equipment. I'm the one reserving the equipment. So I kind of have a general knowledge on all of it.
Even if you haven't operated it, you have moved it around, so you that's a start.
Yeah, sometimes I joke with the customers, like when I'm showing them how to operate it, I know how to start it and I know how to drive it, but as outside of that, I tell customers, honestly, in today's age, YouTube is a huge help because they got multiple, they got videos on all this equipment on how to operate it and how to get your job.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to get a job done. No,
yes, sir.
No doubt. Well, anything your hours, might mention them quickly this morning.
Yeah, hours right now are Monday through Friday, 7 to 5. We are closed on Saturdays currently. That is something that might change in the future. We're just waiting to see.
Monday through Friday, 7 a.m., 5 p.m.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, Josh, thanks so much for being with us. Joshua Etherly with Herc Rentals, and we enjoyed your visit. Maybe they'll send you back soon.
Yes, sir. I enjoyed it. Thank you, Mr. Coleman.
Herc Rentals, 1325 West Main in Lebanon. Again, that website is hercrentals.com, and you remember the phone number, 615-443-RENT. We're about 21 and a half before the hour, and Wilson County Director of Schools, Jeff Luttrell, has joined us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
All right, tell me how the traffic is out there.
Well, I got caught, believe it or not, on a railroad crossing. The gates were down and no train was coming, so it took a few minutes for the backed us up. Had to sit there, but finally, Watertown Police come in and directed traffic, and I made it in time.
Well, you're here on time. I was concerned, noticed anyway, observed this morning. In fact, it looks like there might be a little traffic out there on Trousdale Ferry now. I don't know, but something must have happened that diverted traffic this way earlier, an hour or so ago. But we'll find out in time. You had a meeting Monday night. A week ago was the spring break, right?
That is correct.
All of last week. You went back to school Monday, yesterday.
This past Monday, yes.
Yeah.
Today's
okay.
Wednesday.
So it's back to school, but after being off for a week, and hopefully it was a good spring break. But that put your meeting off a week. The school board. So you met this past Monday night.
We did.
And because I had Lebanon on yesterday, we couldn't accommodate you then, but you're here today, and part of the reason you're here today is to tell us about what happened Monday night. So I guess we can get going.
Yeah, we had a work session before, an hour work session before, and then moved right in to our meeting, and just a regular meeting. There was quite a bit on the agenda. It's that time of year. You know, we're looking at a lot. This time of year, you're looking at a lot of things. You're getting ready to finish the school year, but at the same time, you're in planning stages for next school year. So there was a lot of contracts on there that are going to be needed for next school year. And so we went through all those. And probably the biggest thing that came out of there is, I think that was of importance was the board did vote, had some plans there, had our architect firm there, and showed them some plans for the next elementary school. And they approved those plans, which it's not final plans, but it was preliminary stages of planning, so the architect firm can plan the building, get all the final details, and then at that point, that's the first process you do before you get ready to bid that project. So that passed, of course, and had a little presentation showing what that school would look like.
Now, where is this going to be?
Right now, it is scheduled to be on the double log cabin property, just an elementary school. And what was discussed is architects brought a plan of a school that a base of 115,000 square feet that would accommodate 859 students. But it was decided that there would be an alternate with that, where you could add up to 1,000 students. So when that goes to bid, you'll really have two bids and look and see what we can do there to move that project forward.
Well, now, is this, as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding was the property that's bought there could possibly, in time, have more than just elementary school.
It is big enough, and that is our plans that, of course, the elementary school will sit up front, and then there's room, and we would even have to do some of the site prep as you go in and do your excavation for your elementary. You go ahead and build your pad behind it, which where you would move some of the dirt. And it will accommodate a middle school as well on that campus.
Would you ever envision a high school there as well?
No, it's not big enough for three schools, but it is big enough, and the plan is that you'd build an elementary and a middle there on one campus, and that would be convenient. You know, you think about it, as we grow and these communities pop up, you're setting up a situation where kids in that area would go their K-8 on one site, and that's accommodating, and also it's economical as you look at, as you design and build, buy property, develop that property with all your infrastructure. It seems to work better if you can put two on one.
Was the decision to do this Monday night, was that unanimous?
It was. It was.
So everybody on the school board is on board, pun intended.
Yes, and I think that's important that you want everybody on board, but we realize the growth we're experiencing. We've got to be on board with looking at building schools.
And you can't just we've taken care of our immediate need. You can't just say, well, we're going to wait till we have to think about, and if you don't plan ahead, you're going to be behind, in my opinion.
Well, that's correct, and if it had not been for the tornado, we would be way ahead. Or ahead. I don't know. We'd be way ahead. But we've opened Stoner Creek. We've got West Wilson. If those projects were new buildings, it would put us in better shape. But what we are experiencing, we watch those growth numbers all the time. We watch the capacities of our schools, and I've met with some Mount Juliet representatives a couple weeks ago, and talked to Tom Brashear a little bit yesterday afternoon, and going to be meeting with Lebanon. We're watching as these units get approved and through planning and zoning, and we already know that the amount of units that are sitting here that have been approved, not proposed, but have been approved, that this growth is going to continue in the immediate future. And you're right, you want to try to get ahead. It basically takes 28 to 36 months from the time you start planning a process to get in the building. So it's imperative that we take these steps.
So that's up to 2.5 years.
Correct.
And we are growing, and I did appreciate what Mark Hinesley had to say about West Wilson coming up here, and the builder there. He goes by it maybe every day. You don't, but you know too.
Yeah, it is coming out of the ground. I'm going to leave here. I'm going there for a construction update meeting. We have those monthly, sometimes bi-monthly, but that project is along, and really we need that project today to be complete because it has stressed our system.
Okay, Jeff Luttrell, the Director of Schools, is with us. We'll take a break and be back with more in a moment on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. It's now 7:47. This update, thanks to our friends at Bates Ford. And get $50 off, $250 repair offer to owners of 4 to 10-year-old Ford, Lincoln, or Mercury vehicles. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now in traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Wrapping up this wreck. It's a minor wreck, just in a terrible spot. 24 westbound at Hickory Hollow Parkway. They're still up against the wall, and it's slowing down that traffic coming out of Rutherford County up through this stretch here on 24 westbound at Hickory Hollow Parkway. They're still over here trying to clean up a wreck that's been out here for at least 5 hours on Briley Parkway right over I-65. Watch your speed, I-40 through Dixon County this morning. Quite a bit of radar out in that area on I-40 around 840. Snapdragon Hemp, serving up lab-tested top-shelf hemp products, edibles, flowers, concentrates. Order online today, snapdragon420.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on a compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway, across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
Simple banking, simply better. Since 2004, that's been our motto at Cedarstone Bank. I'm Bob McDonald. We know that financial decisions can sometimes be complicated, but that doesn't mean solutions have to be. Whether you're buying a new home, renovating your existing home, or buying a car, or maybe you're a business that needs to purchase equipment for the building you operate from, we have all the technology that will allow you to do your banking online or on the telephone, or you can come in one of our beautiful branches and they are great people. With locations in Lebanon, Mount Juliet, and Nashville, Cedarstone Bank. Simple banking, simply better.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Jeff Luttrell, our Director of Schools, is with us this morning. To refresh your memory, he wasn't here last week because last week it was spring break and they did not have a board meeting a week ago Monday night, put it off till this past Monday night, and he's here today to talk about that. Another thing I understand that came up Monday night had to do with graduation, and I'm sure you want to talk about that this morning.
Yeah, we approved contracts for our largest high schools to their principals decided back in the fall that they wanted to look at going to MTSU and having those in one venue. And I think it's on a Friday and Saturday, if I remember correctly. So that process began back in the fall, and we did not get a contract from MTSU until this month, or in February. It was after the board meeting, so we had to bring it in March. And I think it sparked some discussion within the community. These graduations are lifetime events for our students and our families. And as we've grown in the past several years, we've done it a lot of different ways. Some schools have went off-site to MTSU. I did not realize, but in the board meeting tonight, got brought up that several years ago they went all the way to Nashville, some of them, to graduate. Belmont, I think. And so in looking at and talking to our principals and some board members and some things, a lot of people like to do them on a high school football field. Right. When I was a high school principal, I loved that. But even then, when our stadiums seat 4,000 or 5,000 and they're overflowing, that's an issue. Creates unbelievable amount of traffic on those days when it's on site. So that was an issue. If you get bad weather, last year that happened to us at Green Hill. We had to move it inside. Then you have to limit family members that can get in. So the thing that it was attractive to our principals and for me as well is you go to MTSU, everybody gets in, you have plenty of parking, and eliminates all that. And there was a lot of discussion, but I think that the community spoke out, and that also passed, and that was approved. We do need to try to work with the MTSU to make that decision quicker. But MTSU, there's a lot goes on there. First, they're going to take care of Rutherford County, so they're going to always, and I understand that's in their county, and they get their date set. And then there's other events. They have to. MTSU's got to schedule that around their spring sports and possibly tournaments, and that goes on in their athletics. But I would love to do it in Wilson County, but I don't know of a venue that's big enough to handle the kind of crowds we have at those large graduations.
Well, if you can have good weather, I know there are some other things that you mentioned, but having it out on a football field on a fairly warm spring evening is okay. But having it in the gym because of rain really is not okay when you got to cause some people not to be able to see the graduation. I don't know. Maybe this is the best way to the best way to have it with all the considering all the other disadvantages. When it was a small school at Watertown, just to have the graduation right there, that worked great, even inside.
And they are going to continue. Watertown will be graduating. I think 157 is what's scheduled to graduate there, and they think they can still have theirs on campus.
Okay.
And when I was there as a principal, what we did was we would have it set up both places, and if you ran into a situation where you had rain, but you would have to limit those tickets. I think we had it 8 or 10 that you could get in and have enough seating, and then we used our auditorium and stream it. But there's going to be a day where Watertown is going to be faced the same situation. So that decision was made. But
was it unanimous, or do you remember?
I think it was unanimous.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think that vote was unanimous, and that's you really want everybody to attend to see that wants to, and it's really difficult when these principals have to make decisions. If you have to go inside, that you're only going to allow 2 tickets per graduate, and that's difficult.
Well, let's move on to something. Anything else Monday night that we need to talk about this morning?
Yeah, something else that we voted on. It's kind of got some attention. Is we've been looking at this past several months, but the need we heard from our nurses and just other stakeholders that the need for us to have Narcan and EpiPens by our nurses in case of an emergency on one of our campuses. And, we did a lot of research on it, and to do that, you have to have a memorandum of understanding from a doctor that says that basically we're going to put our name on this, that this is, and there's procedures. Our nurses, of course, have to be trained. We're so fortunate in Wilson County to have a nurse in every school. That's important. So we had all that ready and brought that memorandum of understanding, and we will be working toward, once we got this approval, of putting Narcan and these EpiPens in our schools in case of emergency. We hope we don't have to, but it made news recently here in Middle Tennessee where Narcan was used, had to be used at a school on a student. And this is a community issue with this fentanyl in our communities, and so not something you like to sit around and talk about, but we wanted to ensure that our nurses are trained, they're professionals, they're licensed, and we wanted to give them the tools they need to potentially save a life. So, and that passed unanimously, but I think that's an important step.
Is that going to cost a lot?
It's not. The cost on it is relatively cheap. Our government's trying to get this. They're trying to get Narcan out. There's some talk that Narcan will soon be available over the counter. You talk to law enforcement, they have it. And so there's some programs out there that we think that will fit us and keep us stocked with what we need. And again, we hope we don't have to use it, but we want to have that tool on our campus.
Well, we got about 4.5 minutes, Jeff Luttrell, and being the sports guy that you have been and still are when you can, I guess. We've had some good basketball teams. It's I think it's over for everybody now, but isn't it?
It is, yes.
But Lebanon had a player of the year. This Green Hill girls team, I think that's the one that didn't win the district, didn't win the region, but won the sub-state and made it to the state.
They did, and I was over there and got to watch them in their first game. I couldn't get back for Friday, but a lot of excitement around that program. If I remember correctly, they got hot last year at the end of the year. But really, to watch those seniors go out and what they accomplished is just it was really fun to watch, and they had a really good run. And then the Jared Hall, that's our Mr. Basketball, and it hit me thinking about that yesterday. I'm not sure that I remember Wilson County having a boys Mr. Basketball before. I don't, maybe they have, but I know in recent years, so that's quite an honor.
Yeah.
At the highest level in the state to be named Mr. Basketball, and he's had a tremendous career. He's brought a lot of pride for this county and the teams he's been on. The coaches have worked with him, and I know he's a Carroll Oakland product, at K-8 school, and I know that they still really claim him. So that's exciting to see. So it was a good basketball season, and we had some teams.
Well, I would be remiss if we didn't mention, I think I'm right here, the Watertown boys didn't win a district game and then won the district in the tournament.
It is correct. They got their 10th win of the year the night they won the district tournament, and then was runner-up in the region as well. Had to go on the road and kind of, I think they played real well in the first half of that game. But they just got hot at the right time and jailed. You had a new coach and first-year coach there. So that's exciting and fun to see for kids and for communities. And that's quite a story.
I don't know all about your history. I just know as far as sports goes, it was baseball, and I'll remind everybody you did throw a no-hitter for Cumberland one time. But did you play basketball or football?
I did. I played basketball. I played all three until high school.
In Kentucky?
In Kentucky.
Yeah.
And then I did play basketball. I was on a really good high school basketball team. And, in fact, went to college on a scholarship to play two sports at Lindsey Wilson College. For 2 years, I played two sports in college, played basketball, and then it just got too much. And but yeah.
Well, then you're with your sports background. You know how to keep an eye on coaches maybe a little more than some directors of school maybe.
Well, I leave that up to my principals, but I've got too much. But I am a sports fan and really believe in what athletics brings.
Yeah.
And it's another avenue, and so that's important. And but yeah, I don't know what my favorite sport is. It's kind of what's in season. But I love high school basketball. Coached girls basketball for a long time, and it's just fun to watch the process at the end of the year.
Jeff, we got 1 minute. What's going to happen between now and your visit back in April?
Well, there's a lot going on. We're working on budget, of course, and I do want to mention. Last night we had an event at ATC. We kind of brought back an old school idea. We had a math contest of our fifth graders, select fifth graders, and I was there for the first half of it and got to talk to the families. 90-some students were selected and brought in, and our high school kids developed the questions. And so they were in rooms testing. We brought in some outside vendors in the community, partners kind of, that showed some of the possibilities of math. You had Lowe's there, you had Dale there, Tom Brashear was there and had a table set up. And so it allowed our kids to highlight some of our kids that are strong in math. And we just want to continue to promote that. We were sitting there talking in the hallway last night. I think the next thing we do is do a science competition too. And so that was fun to see.
Well, appreciate your visit, and we'll see you next time. Your next board meeting, I guess, will be on the first Monday in April.
First Monday in April.
All right, and we'll see you the following Tuesday. Jeff Luttrell, Director of Schools, my guest. Thank you again, and thanks for listening. Join us tomorrow. Till then, I wish you a wonderful day.